The Cellcast is recorded in front of a live streaming audience.
Hello and welcome to another episode of The Cellcast. Joining me today is a man who has sunshine on a cloudy day. Welcome, Jacob.
Why, thank you. Let me introduce let me use our co-host, a man who, a man who's just looking for a sunshine girl. Welcome, Drew.
Aren't we all?
Yeah.
In one form or another.
And yes, exactly.
So, trivia.
Yes.
Have that up.
Yes, you should.
I do know the trivia question was, what is the name of the Japanese rock band who that provided the music for this?
Mm-hmm.
Do you know the answer? Do you know the answer?
I can't remember the band's name off the top of my head.
Come on.
Talk. It's like, yeah, this is a really good band. Really good band. Be like, obviously, I can't remember the name of the band at all for some reason.
Well, it's Radwimps.
Rad
the name
Wimps.
of the band.
Rad Wimps. Okay.
And I can't get it to actually show me all the people who did this.
Uh,
Josh Adams is the only one who got it
Oh.
right.
Rock on, Josh.
Interestingly enough, it asks if you want to see the original version, translate, because it thinks it's a different word.
Yeah.
It translated to cycling wimp. I don't get that, but it's funny.
That is funny. That is so funny.
Oh, me. So yeah, that was our trivia for this, and Josh is the only one who guessed, so he's the only one who got it right. Admittedly, this is not it's a popular movie, I think, among a certain subset,
Yeah.
but it's not as broad stroke as, say, even the movie we did last week, Thumbelina.
Yeah.
And definitely there's not as much nostalgia in this, because this is really us having our little fancy episode. That doesn't sound right. This is our excuse to say, yeah, we're really animation nerds, because we're going to look at this movie only the animation and movie nerds know about.
Exactly.
Or anime nerds, for that matter.
Well, some movie reviewers have reviewed this film before.
True. But I'm saying,
In general,
some of the people who probably listen to our show maybe not heard of this movie.
probably
before.
not. And so we're going to try to
So-
educate you on a very good film.
Yes, this is a pseudo sequel to
Kind of.
Your Name, which we did previous.
Yes, we
Also,
did.
movies we suggest. Also, movie probably shouldn't watch it with your kids.
Probably not.
And this is kind of the same. But we'll get to all that in just a minute. And before all of that, Jacob, how are you doing today?
Man, I'm doing pretty good. This week I am on vacation.
Lucky
Whoop, whoop.
dog.
Yep, exactly. Woof woof. So I am officially on vacation from work, and so I've been doing a lot of art. And if you want to see some exclusive art I did for the Patreon, go to patreon.com/cellcast to check out. Go to the $5 or $10 tier to check out the piece of art I did for. I think it was our Rockadoodle episode. I did a B cover.
Rockadoodle's a variant.
It's a
variant album art is what I titled it.
Awesome. And you can get the ink version, the full ink version, and the full color version. And I spent some time coloring that thing. It was I thought it was a very good piece. What did you think of it?
I liked it. I thought you did a very good job on it.
Thank you. So if you want to see the full version, go over to patreon.com/thecellcast to at the $5 or $10 tier to go grab yourself some really good art.
I think that's the web address. It may just, I actually don't know. I don't know if doing patreon.com/thecellcast is actually what
I think it
brings
is actually.
I probably, and I'm just being stupid, but
But-
double check.
But either or, so yeah, being on vacation, given more time. I am currently dog sitting for a family I know from church, and that has been it's always an interesting experience dog sitting for dogs, mind you. We had a storm.
Well, it's not like your dog sitting for cats.
Yeah, that's true. Cats are just more like, indulge me, slave. I do not hate cats. Just like this, the parody of what a cat is.
thought you were gonna say something about you like them with like a side of ranch dressing or something.
No, no,
You're
no,
not
no, no.
you're not like another friend of ours who intentionally says stuff like that for fun.
No. Oh no, 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 no. But yeah, we had a storm come through East Texas, which is um up northern East Texas. If you look at a map,
I'm sure we've mentioned where East
we
Texas is.
we
before.
have, but just you never know.
Yeah, we're halfway between Dallas and Shreveport.
Yes.
Or another way to think of it, we're halfway between Dallas and Dallas.
Mm-hmm.
Just a different kind of Dallas.
Just a different
Just
Dallas.
Dallas, Texas, and Dallas of Geek Devotions.
Yes. So we are storm came through. One of the dogs that I'm dog sitting is terrified of storms, so that was interesting. And yeah, I'm looking forward to Friday. I'm going to go see a concert. Stephen Curtis Chapman in Longview. So
Fun.
I'm definitely looking forward, excited to it. I'm not going to give details here because a lot of this is more so private. So yeah. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. I don't know what Saturday is going to be, but we'll definitely play it by ear. What's going to happen on Saturday? So what have you been up to, Drew?
I've been here. No, I had a relatively calm week. Nothing too exciting happened. I, did my normal stuff. I streamed a little. I, watched some TV, watched some movies. Got mad at the internet service provider.
I heard about that.
Yeah. Last night when I was trying to stream Dragon Quest 11, I kept watching the. If you've never dealt with OBS, the software we use to stream that stuff out, we don't use it for the podcast, but for the actual thing. When I'm streaming the games, there's a little thing in the bottom right-hand corner of the screen that tells you how your connection is.
Yeah.
And it will tell you how many times that you've lost frames, where it shot something, but that frame didn't get broadcast.
Okay.
It does happen from time to time. Most nights, I actually do pretty good. I'll get with like a 0, maybe 1 or 2, maybe 30 at most dropped frames.
Yeah.
So, maybe a whole second. Ooh. But last night, I had like 25 to 30%, and it was never going back down as the video went longer. And so I thought, well, okay, there's only one really good way to fix that. And that would be to reset the modem. Now, this modem that's right here, for those of you on the video, it doesn't have a button on the outside that I've been able to find to reset the internet. You have to make sure it's connected to the TV, go on the TV to the settings, and then the internet thing, and then you can see the button to reset. That's how it's supposed to work. Except last night, this box wasn't getting TV signal.
Oh, fun.
I was getting 400 megabits per second down on internet.
Right.
But I was getting no TV signal, and that's apparently how it knows where to connect up and everything. So I don't know what happened last night.
Interesting.
But yeah, the whole thing just crapped out. And it's like, well, I can't fight this at this point. By the time I get it up, it's going to be time to finish. So I went ahead and called it and just shut everything down and finished watching this movie. I was going to do that later that night anyway. And then watched some episodes of Godzilla the series.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, I guess I've transitioned into what I've been watching.
You have.
Unintentionally. So along with that, what else have I watched? Watched some more Log Horizon at Chase's Sunday night. You were not there.
Yes, I was dog sitting.
Yes. So watched some more of that. Played some more Final Fantasy 14. That's my train of thought leaving the station. I say that knowing nobody on the stream just heard that, because I don't think y'all can hear the train, but I could be wrong. Yeah, I didn't get much watch since last Tuesday. Or really, I guess since last Friday, because I did watch something last week.
Really?
Yes, and you watched it too, because we were on Retro Rewind podcast.
Episode
for The Thief and the Cobbler. And that was
interesting.
I don't think he said it's coming out this week. I think it's next week. But keep an eye out for that one on
yes.
his thing, because that's actually a good episode, I think.
Mhm.
And I'm not saying that just because we were on it. Uh, I think it was actually a good discussion we had.
Yeah, I think retro rewind podcast
Mhm.
is a very well production, very well done podcast.
How much
It's-
is Francisco paying you to say this?
I don't know. But yeah, if you want to listen to a good podcast, go listen to them.
Yes,
They're really good,
Yes.
He's- including us.
Yeah, and then also for that I watched I got caught up to the episode we were going to review of Firefly, which was Bushwhacked,
Mhm.
and I also watched The Train Job because
I did too.
I'm trying to keep up with where they're at.
Right.
So I watched both of those, enjoyed it. I think that's actually all what I couldn't think of earlier about what I'd watched. So
Oh, okay.
that's what I've watched. What have you watched?
Okay. So besides Thief and the Cobbler, Cobbler, what is it
Thief-
called? Yeah, Thief and the
Well,
Cobbler.
Thief and the Cobbler,
The Thief and-
Arabian Night, Princess and the Cobbler. I won't go there.
But yes, besides that movie, I watched 2 episodes of Firefly. Be like, for those who have been saying, be like, Jacob, you need to watch Firefly. I am actually watching Firefly now. Thank you very much. Exactly like that. So during my my retreat to dog sitting in the middle of, I don't want to say nowhere because it's about 10 miles out of town. So
Kind of the middle of nowhere.
kind of.
And
It's
there's-
at a junction.
I'm just saying there's not much that direction.
No, there's not.
For like 50 miles.
There's a bunch of cows. Let's say that.
lots of cows.
Lots of cows. So and they have internet, so I use it freely. So I watched Batman Beyond season 1 through 7, which there again, Batman Beyond is incredible on HBO Max. Also on HBO Max, the Batman season 1 through 4. I mean, like, it's interesting. The design is very good. I'm not the keenest fan on how they draw the human face.
Mm-hmm.
It's like they have no cheekbone whatsoever.
Well, I mean, that is a much more cartoony take on
Oh,
the
I agree.
Batman mythos.
I agree. Completely
Then-
agree.
Really, any other version of animated Batman. But
Yeah.
yeah.
Yes.
Well, I mean, except for whatever, if he ever shows up in, what's it called? The DC Superhero Girls Squad thing? Is that
Yeah.
what it is? Supergirl Squad? I don't remember the name of the show.
Yeah, it's something new. Yeah.
I don't watch it. It's not for me.
But yeah, I watched that. It's okay. It'd be like, it's starting to warm up. I've watched it previously, and so I'm warming up to it a little bit.
Mhm.
And one that I know Drew's gonna be excited that I actually did watch it, finally did finish it. Marvel's What If.
Took you long enough. Of course, part of that is my fault because I'm so behind on Tangled series. We didn't get a chance to review it.
Which is perfectly fine. Maybe like we'll it'll get
get
released
there when we
get
get
there.
there.
Exactly. So I watched that. I watched episodes 7 through 9, which is the conclusion of season 1, which were very good. I was kind of like, whoa, okay. They leave this cliffhanger. It's like, oh, this character might return in season 2. Ooh. Interesting.
The return of Batmite.
Batmite?
Never mind if you don't know who I'm talking about. Oh, it's Condiment King that's going to be showing up, isn't it?
Condiment King. Yeah, I don't think this is not DC. This is Marvel.
Oh yeah, duh.
I know that much.
I was still somewhat stuck on the Batman.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Not Beware the Batman.
yes.
But either way, I think that's all I've been watching, unless I've, just maybe some crime drama stuff, which I love to watch.
Right.
And yeah, I had a very interesting phone call, and we'll get into who it was. But they called asking, do they know the person who did the autopsy for a murder victim? And I was like, I think you have the wrong number. And he happily agreed and hung up. So I thought that would just be very interesting to those who either are watching now or listening later.
Okay.
Yeah.
What do we got in the news?
All right. So what do we got in the news? All right. So it's something to do with a pussycat.
Whoa.
All right, so on the boot heels of yesterday's first look and cast reveal of Universal Pictures has launched the official trailer to DreamWorks animation Puss in Boots: The Last Wish, the first feature film from the Shrek universe since the Furry Heroes solo spinoff in 2011. The Last Wish looks to be a carryover of the classic DWA style melding with this describing the animation style.
Yeah.
So Antonio Banderas returns to voice the notorious P.I.B. Puss in Boots. All right, as he embarks.
That's so stupid.
I thought it was funny.
That is so stupid.
All right, so as he embarks on an epic journey into the Black Forest to find the mysterious wishing star and restore his lost lives, but with only one life left, Puss must humble himself and ask for help from former partner nemesis, the captivating Kitty Softpaws, voiced by Selma Hayek. Added against his better judgment. It's against my will. It's against my will. It's against my will.
So few people will get that joke.
But we'll get it. By ratty, chatty, relentlessly cheerful Muff. Proof. Yeah, Puff. Okay.
I'm making a joke. It's like, muff, muff. Like
Yeah.
a dog barking.
Yeah,
Muff,
Mutt.
muff.
Yeah, Mutt. Mutt.
At least it was muff.
No, it's Mutt.
Mutt makes more sense.
M-U-T-T.
Mutt.
Mutt. Yeah, apparently it's the
Thought it
team
was
up with a
short for-
dog.
Moving on.
Yeah, moving on. So yeah, looks like we're getting a new Puss in Boots movie. They have not said when this movie will be released. So this is the first trailer, the first poster has been released. So go check that out. See what you think. All right. So another news. If I can get to the news. All right. So Disney Plus has released this previous morning, celebrating Embrace the Panda, making of Turning Red, a feature documentary about an all-women team at the helm of Pixar's original newest feature, Turning Red. Released last Friday, Pixar released a brand new now granted this information is from what's on Disney.com's
Right.
what's on DisneyPlus.com. This bit of information last Friday, Pixar released a brand new new animated film, Turning Red, on Disney Plus. And according to Simba TV, 2.5 million people in the U.S. households watched Turning Red over the first weekend. And that's from what's on DisneyPlus.com.
Okay.
Okay, so going into a movie that a sequel to a movie we've already reviewed, and I think we did a reaction to. I think, and I know Drew's excited about it. I'm excited about it. So what I'm talking about is Sonic the Hedgehog 2 is picking up full speed ahead to its April 8th theatrical release, and just dropped a brand new trailer. And it gives more information on Tails, Knuckles, Robotnik, and I've already seen the trailer myself. It looks incredible.
At least they're not calling him Eggman yet.
Yeah, yet.
Have
you seen the mustache?
He's getting egg shaped.
Yeah, a little bit.
His mustache is more correct.
Right.
And you do get to see the final boss from Sonic the Hedgehog 2 in that trailer.
Really?
The giant robot.
Oh, okay.
I can't think of.
I gotcha.
I don't think that's Final Egg. I think that's the name of the thing. But Egg Robo.
Yeah, and also the
Egg Robo. That's the name of it.
The poster they released is actually an homage
To the Sonic the Hedgehog 2 box art, which I immediately picked up on. I was like, oh, that's good.
Because the Sonic fan over here is just like, ah. Yeah. If you go back a couple episodes when
we reacted to that first one, I gave a prediction of where this movie was going. where the movies were going.
Right.
I think by the time we reviewed the movie, did the full review of the movie.
Yeah.
They had released like a teaser trailer
Mhm.
before we knew officially Idris Elba was going to be Knuckles.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Which is still mind blowing to me. I
Mhm.
think they released a teaser, and from that point, we knew that I had called this thing
Oh yeah.
to the teeth.
I think it was by the second trailer
It was by the second trailer we knew for certain because that.
but he called it. It was just spot on.
Yeah. I mean, we're not going to Oil Ocean, but we don't need to go to. We probably won't go to any of the places, any of the levels in the game, except maybe Emerald Hill might be Hawaii.
Yeah.
But and they weren't playing the Emerald Hill theme as his ringtone in this last trailer.
Ah. All right. So there again, this movie will be coming to theaters. Praise the Lord, it's going to theaters.
Yes.
Unlike Turning Red. Come on, Disney. Really? Either or. So this will be coming to theaters April 8th. And so we will be going to theaters to do a reaction to this. Most likely. And I know a friend of the show, Aaron, would want to tag along.
Yes. If we get that timed out.
Yeah, if we get that timed out. And so if you are in the Tyler area and you want to go see
we'll
the
have
movie,
a mini get together.
If people want to get together and hang out. And see how, get the community together and do stuff together.
If you're in the area.
If you're in doubt, if you're somewhere else and driving,
if you're in Dallas, go to one of those nicer theaters with the full IMAX that we
Exactly.
would love to see this in, but are not going to.
Yeah, true. All right,
because we don't want to drive 30. We don't want to drive 2 hours.
Indeed. All right, so in a final bit of news, the 2022 EE, I'm not exactly sure what EE stands for, British Academy Award, or Academy Film Awards, was held held Sunday night, presented by the British Academy of Film and Television Arts, also known as BAFTA. Let's see. While The Mitchells and the Machine was the Bella of the Annie Awards ball on Saturday night, Disney's Encanto. Am I saying that right?
I don't care anymore.
Encanto was added another animated film honor to its long list of acclamates. Yeah. So yeah, be like those who won awards, awesome. So yes. So that's all I got in the news.
Yeah, missed something.
What did I miss?
Did you know that Crunchyroll and Funimation are merging?
I heard something about that.
And yeah, that's happening apparently. I think at least we're losing the Funimation app to Crunchyroll because that's the stronger streaming brand. Don't know about the production studio. Can't find any information on that myself. But anyway.
So it's going to be Crunchy Fun?
Doubt that. That sounds disturbing. Very disturbing. But anyway.
Ooh, no, it's Munchie now.
No.
Yeah, no.
No, let's not.
No.
Anyway, that's the only other news I heard.
Right.
That you didn't already cover.
That is all I have.
All right, then let's jump into the spoiler-free section of our review for Weathering with You. I think we both saw this for the first time about was it 3 years ago now?
2009.
2019.
Yeah, 2019.
No.
Not 2000.
No. It was 2020.
It was. Yeah, that's right.
We saw this in 2020.
Yeah, very early 2020.
Yeah, like early January of 2020.
That's right. Yeah.
That was one of that's when we both saw it. And I remember I absolutely loved the film when I watched it the first time because good night, it's pretty. Well, I'll get more into that when we get into the spoiler section, but it is a drop dead gorgeous film. It's got a great story. It's a great love story. It's to some degree, I don't think kids should watch it because, I mean, her shirt does technically come off in one scene. You can't see anything.
That is true.
But because it's actually what's happening to her.
Yeah,
But her shirt is off in that scene.
that is true.
But
it's very well done.
It's well done. It's
well done. You don't see anything.
You don't. Well, no, because what has happened to her is covering that part of her body.
Right. Right.
But I'm having to be. I'm trying not to spoil anything.
No spoilers.
Yes, but I mean, it's really not a movie I think kids would be interested in watching anyway. If we're being honest, and there's some cool stuff in there, but I mean, it's definitely a love story.
Agreed.
It's a romance. There's a lot of sci-fi fantasy elements in said romance story, but it is still a romance story at its core.
Right.
And I absolutely love the film, and that's about as spoiler-free as I can get.
Okay.
What are your thoughts?
Like Drew, I watched it also in early 2022 before the pandemic hit.
2020, not 2022.
2020, sorry. 2020. Before the pandemic hit.
Too many twos and zeros.
Yeah, exactly. But I thoroughly enjoyed it the first time I ever watched it. There again, visual total force with this director does everything just perfect visually. Story-wise, great. Character-wise, great. Character development, great. I can see why the character did what they did, but at the same time, yeah, yeah. But yeah, we'll get into there when we get there. Yeah. But yeah, there's a bit like, it's a great movie. Do not get me wrong. This is a wonderful, beautiful masterpiece. I think it kind of leans into his previous work a little bit in this movie, a little bit. There's some cameos and some
story connection, somewhat
story connection.
More on that in trivia.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, be like, I thoroughly enjoyed the movie. Would I tell people go watch it? Absolutely. Is it really a kid movie? Not so much.
Yeah.
It's a very well told story, and probably let older kids watch it or something like that.
Yeah.
But heck yeah, go watch it. If you're an otaku, if you're just the average Joe,
looking for just a good movie,
good solid movie
to watch,
that's
and
movie
you
to watch.
Don't really care that it's animated,
right?
Sounds weird to say that on an animation-centered podcast, but
or anime.
Yeah, or anime. It is an anime, and you do have access to the English dub and the original Japanese with subtitles. But the dub is good on this one.
Yeah, dub is really good.
Yeah, it's a very well done dub.
Yeah, I bought it on Blu-ray when it came out. I know
I pre-ordered it.
He pre-ordered it
as soon as we got home from watching it in the theater. I pre-ordered it.
Wow. So yeah, it's one of those films that, like, the basic, animation nerd to the otaku to the average viewer to the hardcore movie reviewer, the guys who love movies to death, need to watch this movie.
Yes. Especially if you've seen Your Name.
Yes, definitely go watch Your Name, because because you'll also see a little bit of
mirroring.
Here and a little cameos here and there.
Perhaps some reflections.
Yeah, some reflections.
In the water.
And some ribbon.
A lot of unions.
Yeah, a lot of unions. Reunions.
Moving on. So yeah, I think we're going to go ahead and jump into the intermission so we can get to spoiling this. We will catch you on the other side of the bumper. Don't forget that you can download. Don't forget that you can. Don't forget that you can listen to us record the podcast live every Tuesday over on our Facebook page, the Cellcast, our Twitch channel, the Cellcast Gaming, and on YouTube at Cellcast. Also, don't forget to join our Patreon if you would like to support us monetarily. At $1, you'll get our everlasting thanks. At our $5 tier, you can get some artwork from Jacob. And at our $10 tier, you can get bloopers for every episode we've released that I've remembered to release them for. And you can get commentaries from different movies. So come check us out over there if you would like to support us financially. Every other week, join the Retro Rewind Pod as they travel back 15 or more years along the entertainment space-time continuum in their mission to review movies and games, establishing what is still worth your time today. Expect fun banter and trivial insights from Francisco and Paul, the Master Interrupter Powers, and rotating guest hosts who are all out of time. Do you like Star Wars? I don't just mean the original trilogy. Along with that, I mean the prequels, the sequels, the anthologies, the animated shows, and of course, who doesn't like Baby Yoda? Well, if you've been in the fandom for any length of time, you know how toxic the fandom can get. And if you'd like to be able to discuss a galaxy far, far away in a much more positive light, might I suggest searching out The Outer Rim, a Facebook group dedicated to all of Star Wars, and check out their YouTube channel, which you can easily find at Pop Americana, which the podcast you're currently listening to is also a part of. To find that and more, check out the link in the description. The following is a spoiler-filled review for the movie Weathering with You. Listener discretion is advised. Weathering with You was written and directed by Makoto Shinkai, who we both know also directed and wrote Your Name.
Mm-hmm.
The cast was playing Hadoka Morishima was Brandon Ingman, and the only other thing I could find is he played a punk in Empathy Incorporated, which I had no idea what that is.
Really?
Yeah. Hina Amano was played by Ashley Boetcher, and apparently in the TV show Lost in Oz, she played Dorothy Gale.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Case Kisuga was played by Lee Pace, and in Guardians of the Galaxy, he plays Ronan the Accuser.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
Much bigger name than you're expecting to hear tonight, isn't it?
Yes.
Natsumi Suga was played by Alison Brie, and she was Unikitty in the Lego Movie. Fumi Tachibana was played by Barbara Goodson. Do you know who she is?
Barbara Goodson. The name sounds really familiar. She's been mentioned in our podcast.
Oh, many times. She's actually been in quite a number of our movies, but there is one particular show I know we both watched as kids in which she had a very major role, both first as a voice for this character and then actually playing the character in other seasons of the show.
Probably Clone Wars?
No.
Then who?
Actually, she was in Clone Wars.
Oh, okay.
But that's not what I was getting at.
Okay, then
She played the in Clone Wars, she was the leader of the witches on Dathomir.
Oh, okay.
But that's not the point I was getting.
Okay,
at.
then
A certain headache-prone villain.
Oh, Rita Repulsa.
Yes. She was. It's weird because I'm sitting there watching this and go, Barbara Goodson. She was in this? Because I didn't hear someone yelling to make their monster grow or anything like that. And that's just a name that I now look for because she's still doing a lot, apparently. Yeah. So, yeah.
Hey, some people are not just one-trick ponies. They do a lot of stuff.
Granted. Nagisa Amano was voiced by Amika Gwendo.
Mm-hmm.
He is a fairly new actor because he's the one who played the boy.
Yeah.
Her brother.
Yeah.
And he was boy number 1 on the television show Blacklist.
Okay. I've never seen
that was one episode randomly, so there's probably a lot of boy number 1s. I didn't catch which episode it was. My apologies. Detective Yasui, which I think is the detective that had the what do you call that? It's the hairstyle.
The hot dog?
No.
It looks like a hot dog.
It's actually it's inspired by Elvis for crying out
exactly.
loud. I know what this is called. Oh, it doesn't matter. He was played by Mike Pollock. Yeah, that hairstyle.
That hairstyle.
It was played by Mike Pollock, who in the recent video games of Sonic the Hedgehog,
right,
he played Dr. Ivo Eggman Robotnik.
Ivo
is his first name.
Oh, okay. That makes sense. It's a very good evil villain name. Ivo.
Well, Ivo is Ovi backwards because in the original thing, his character before he became evil, he was Ovi Kintobor, which is literally Ivo Robotnik backwards. And Ovi is very egg punny.
Okay.
So they kept anyway.
This guy knows his stuff. Let's say that.
I know too much is my problem. Pompadour. Thank you, Neko.
Pompadour. Thank you. Pompadour.
Pompadour is what is that hairstyle?
I
I think that was Yasui who had the pompadour.
Yeah, it's a hairstyle from the 50s.
If it wasn't him that had the pompadour, it would have been Detective Takai, who was voiced by Riz Ahmed. And in the movie Rogue One, a Star Wars story, he played Bodhi, the pilot.
Oh,
that gets captured at the beginning of the movie by Lawrence Fishburne.
Oh, okay.
That's not Lawrence Fishburne.
No, that's not Lawrence Fishburne.
It's the guy from Longview. I can't think of his name. Anyway, he's also the one who actually calls them Rogue One when they ask for the call sign of their ship.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
That's that guy.
Gotcha.
All right. Kingdom Hearts connections. Kirk Thornton was additional voices in Weathering With You. And in Kingdom Hearts, he was Sykes and Isa. Joe Oachman was additional voices in this. And he is the fifth actor to ever play Jiminy Cricket.
Really?
And the third one to play Jiminy Cricket in Kingdom Hearts. Ashley, is this Ashley? That is not her name. Wait, yeah, sorry, it is Ashley Bodicher. I was thinking it was character name. Ashley Bodicher, who voiced Hina Amano, our main girl.
Yeah.
In this, voices Olette in Kingdom Hearts 3. In the Japanese version, Masako Nozawa is the fortune teller. I played the fortune teller, one of the fortune tellers, and was the voice of Merryweather. However, she voices a character you probably know better in Japanese as Son Goku.
Oh.
She's that voice actress.
Didn't she recently pass away?
Maybe, but this is before that.
Yeah.
No, I don't think she did. I could be wrong. Because they're still making those things, and they don't recast often in Japan.
Right.
But anyway. Kana Nanazawa was the voice of Kana in Japan. And was Foreteller Envy in Kingdom Hearts in Japan. And Kyohei Kimura was Scoutman Kimura in Japan. And in Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep, he voiced Yoshia Joshua Kiryu, which is a role he reprised from when he was in the game The World Ends With You, which you don't know what that is. But it was interesting to see him in that game, considering he came from another game. Anyway, that's all the Kingdom Hearts connections. What do we got at info and stuff?
All right, so info and stuff. IMDb, it has a score of 7.5 out of 10. You can watch it on HBO Max if you are a subscriber to HBO Max. It was produced by Comics Wave Films and Story Inc.
See, I thought it was pronounced Comics Wave, but I could be wrong.
It could be Comics Wave. I saw it co-mix, but
fair enough.
Yeah, either or, which way we pronounce it. And Story Inc. Was distributed by Toei in Japan, and in America it was distributed by G-Kids.
Toei or Toho?
Sorry, Toho. Sorry,
I was about to say
Toho.
It's entirely different companies.
Yes,
I wanted to make sure
it is. It is.
This is a lot more understandable than the Warner Brothers Walt Disney thing.
All right, so it was originally released on July 19th. 19th. This is a different century. July 19th, 2019. And oddly enough, at 9 a.m. in the morning in Japan.
I can see that.
Yeah. And the US, it was released, and that makes sense when we watched it, July 17th, 2020.
July or January?
January. I'm sorry, January. Because otherwise,
July, we went up, the theaters were shut down.
Exactly. So in box office, it had an estimated budget of $11.1 million. I don't know what that's translated to. So to go to its Japanese release, so during its initial screening of 359 theaters and 448 screens in Japan, Weathering With You sold 1.5 million tickets, earning 1.6 billion yen, which
Mhm.
converted to as $15.2 million. In its first 3 days, it was reported that Wuthering You surpassed the director's previous film, Your Name, by earning 1.2 billion yen, translated to 12.51 million dollars at the time. In the first 3 weeks of screening, earning an estimate between 28.6% more. The film had sold 8.9 million tickets and grossing over $42 million in its first 17 weeks in market. And by this November 19th, 2019, by the end of November, it had grossed 200 and 288.6 million yen, converted to four that could be million. I could be saying that wrong earlier. To four 41.78 million dollars in Japan. Now going to its American box office. All right, so its opening weekend, United States and Canada, was $1.8 million on January 19th. It grossed $8 million in United States and Canada, and its worldwide gross was $193.9 million. So yeah, it blew through its budget
Oh,
beyond
yeah.
belief.
Oh yeah.
And if you've ever watched the film, you know why.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, that is all. Hold on, I'm not done yet. I thought I was, but I'm not. Film release or home release. The film was released on Blu-ray in Japan in May 27, 2020. A collector's edition included a 4K UHD disc with English and Chinese subtitles. The film was released digitally in North America on August 4th, 2022, with a supplemental release on Blu-ray and DVD on September 15th, 2020, a limited 4K UHD following that November 17th, 2022. This film is currently able to be streamed on HBO Max, a streaming service of
Warner Brothers.
AT&T's Warner Media.
Except I don't think AT&T's involved anymore.
I don't think so, but that's the information I had.
Okay.
That is all for the info and stuff. As far as I understand, there's no sequel in the works.
I'm sure he's working on another movie by now.
Yeah, he's working on a movie. He might
be in that universe.
Right.
But more on how he treats that universe here in just a minute.
Yeah.
So, getting into the summary. In June of 2021, you can definitely tell this takes place in an alternate universe at this point, because I don't think Japan was this open or this rainy in the actual June 2021.
No.
Because of a certain virus.
Yeah. Thanks, COVID.
Yeah. But in June of 2021, first-year high schooler Hadoka Morishima escapes Kozushima in order to get away from his troubled home life in Tokyo.
Mm-hmm.
To Tokyo, sorry. When his ferry to the city is hit by a rainstorm, he is saved by Keisuke Suga, who gives Hodoka his business card. As Hodoka becomes broke and struggles to find work, he meets Hina Amano, an employee of a McDonald's restaurant. She takes pity on him and gives him food. Later on, Hadoka finds an abandoned Makarov PM handgun in a waste bin he fell onto. After arriving at Suga's business location, he meets him there and his niece, Natsumi, though they doesn't realize it's his niece at the time. Suga hires him as an assistant at a small occult magazine publishing company, where they investigate urban legends related to the unusually rainy weather in Tokyo. From a psychic, they hear the legend of a sunshine girl who can control the weather. Hadoka sees Hina being intimidated into working at a back alley club. After a brief chase, he scares off the club owners by firing his gun into the air, thinking it was a toy. He and Hina escape. She takes him to Yoyogi Kaiken, an abandoned building with a shrine on the roof, where he throws the gun away. Hina astonishes Hodoka by demonstrating her ability to clear the sky by praying. Hadoka finds out that Hina lives alone with her brother Nagi, and they have no adult guardian. Seeing how they are in financial trouble, Hadoka promises to start a business with Hina, with the ability of the Sunshine Girl, a job to clear the weather for events such as weddings and parties. They create a website to accept orders, and their business quickly becomes a success. However, when clearing the sky for the Jingu Fireworks Festival, Hina is shown on television, and their site gets flooded with requests, and so they decide to close their business. A detective and police search for Hodoka and his family as his family filed a missing person report. They find out Hodoka was caught using the gun on a security camera. Officers arrive at the apartment where Hina lives with Nagi and interrogate her while Hodoka hides. Hina realizes that because they have no legal guardians, with their mother having died recently, social services are going to take them into custody and separate them. Right after the police leave, Suga visits Hodoka, having also been visited by the police. Suga fires Hodoka and gives him his severance pay, explaining that the police suspect him of kidnapping Hodoka. Hodoka, Hina, and Nagi try to run away, but they are halted by the worsening weather. They take shelter in a hotel and spend the night with instant food and doing karaoke. As midnight passes, Hina reveals that her body is slowly turning into water the more she uses her power. She explains that she is the cause of the abnormal weather and is intended to be a human sacrifice, and her disappearance will return the weather to normal. Hodoka promises to protect her, but the next morning, Hina has vanished into the sky and the rain has stopped. In the morning, the police track Hodoka to the hotel room. Nagi is sent to the Children's Counseling Center, and Hodoka is taken to the police station. Having already fallen in love with Hina, Hodoka decides to bring her back to Earth and escapes from the police custody with the help of Natsumi and her Honda Super Cub. After her motorcycle is immobilized, Hodoka resumes on foot to Yoyogi Kaiken building to reach the shrine. Inside, he encounters Suga, who attempts to stop him. The police surround Hodoka, but Suga, now inspired by Hodoka's desperation to see Hina, helps him escape. At the rooftop shrine, Hodoka jumps through the shrine gate and is transported into the sky, where he finds Hina and asks her to leave with him, insisting that Hina let go of her worries about the weather and start living for herself. As soon as they come back to the rooftop shrine, Hina, Hodoka, Natsumi, Nagi, and Suga are all arrested, and the heavy rain resumes. Hodoka is sentenced to a 3-year probation and sent back to his home in Kozushima. 3 years later, the rain has been falling without end in Tokyo, submerging much of the city. In the spring of 2024, after finishing his probation, Hodoka graduates from high school and returns to Tokyo to start college. He meets with Suga, who has expanded his business. After Suga encourages him to find Hina, Hodoka finds her praying on a street overlooking the drowned city. They reunite with Hodoka promising her that they will be all right. Getting into the trivia for this, because that was a lot of story, but honestly, you can't really
No, you can't.
make it shorter than that. That still left out a bunch of things.
Mm-hmm. It did.
But anyway.
Not to mention the cat.
Yes, it did leave out rain.
Yeah.
Weathering with You is the first anime film to be officially released in India. Director Makoto Shinkai noted the online traction the film was getting, especially in Twitter, where India fans started trending India Wants Anime, or hashtag India Wants Anime, and made the release of the film possible theatrically. The original Japanese title, Tenki no Ko, literally means Weather's Child. Hodoka is inspired by Holden Caulfield, the fictional character of The Catcher in the Rye. In the film, Hodoka carries the book with him on the ferry to Tokyo. This film was submitted for consideration for the International Feature Film, formerly Foreign Language Film, for the 92nd Academy Awards, the first Japanese anime film to be submitted in this category since Princess Mononoke in 1997. The film ultimately didn't secure a nomination for the category or a spot on the 10-film shortlist announced in December 2019. As stated earlier, this is the second film of Makoto Shinkai to feature music by the band Radwimps. This is the last theatrical anime film with the 1967 MPAA logo in the end credits. Because I didn't realize it changed recently.
Either.
Except I have noticed it was slightly different. But anyway. This film does feature the voices of Michael Sinterklaas and Stephanie Shea, and along with their Japanese counterparts, Ryonosuke Kamiki and Mona Kamishirashi, reprising their roles as Taki and Mitsuha from Your Name. Their friends Teshi and Sayaka also make quick cameos in the film.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Very quick cameos.
Very quick.
Since Weathering with You takes place mostly in 2021, and the epilogue of Your Name, where Taki and Mitsuha finally meet back up at the end of the movie,
Mhm.
is in 2022. In their cameos in this film, they had not re-met each other. From the end of that movie.
Oh, okay.
But
So it's kind of stuck in between it.
well, here's the other weird thing. This causes a plot hole.
Okay.
Because nowhere in that 2022 segment there at the end of Your Name features a rain-drenched Tokyo.
No, it doesn't. That is a plot hole.
Apparently, Makoto Shinkai didn't care. It's literally what he said.
It'd be like,
it's like, don't think too much about it. We didn't go that far. We didn't think of it at the time.
Didn't project ahead.
We didn't think we were going to make a movie about a sunshine girl failing at her job because she fell in love with another boy and causing Tokyo to become soaked in floodwaters.
Mm-hmm.
And if you remember from that summary, I mentioned a lot of brand name things.
Oh yeah,
throughout the film.
Mm-hmm.
That's because this is the first Japanese anime with heavy product placement.
Oh yeah, Coca-Cola,
and it is
everything.
Like everywhere. But the thing is, the way the product placement in here is, it fits what they're doing.
Yeah,
it doesn't really. There's a little bit. It's like, that's obviously they're in a McDonald's.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure McDonald's had to sign off on everything that happened in there. And it is very accurate to what a McDonald's looks like, at least
they
look like over here. I assume they look the same over there. But yeah, they used heavy product placement, but it makes the world feel real.
Yeah,
is what I'm gonna go. Is my excuse?
Oh,
for
completely
that.
agree. Completely agree.
This is Makoto Shinkai. Oh, sorry, backing up. In the movie, there's a cat sticker on the fridge at the K&A office. This is the avatar of director Makoto Shinkai on his Twitter.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
This is Makoto Shinkai's 6th feature film and his 12th film overall.
Yeah.
Running at 111 minutes. It's also now his longest film, beating out the previous record holder of Your Name from 2016 at 106 minutes, which beat his first feature film, The Place Promised in Our Early Days in 2004, at 90 minutes. Last but not least, throughout the film, Hina is wearing a choker with a blue raindrop, symbolizing her fate. But when she is returned from the sky by Hodaka, the choker is broken.
Yeah, I noticed that.
That's a nice little detail.
Yeah.
Anyway, that is the end of the trivia.
I'm
going to go first, just because I want to.
Okay, go for it.
This movie features probably the best use ever of computer animated backgrounds.
Oh, absolutely.
And that's not the only thing. And as much as beautiful it is, there's a lot of foreground elements that use that too. But you don't the only reason I noticed them is because I was looking for stuff.
Yeah.
But you get those moments where it's like, that is not how you normally do a 2D image. There's usually things don't usually rotate.
Yeah.
In 2D.
Oh yeah.
Because that requires so much handwork if you're doing it either by hand or you're doing it vector wise on a thing. So the way they had to have done it in here to where it looks right is that almost all the backgrounds and any foreground element that would need to rotate there with it had to have been done in 3D, printed out. I mean, not printed out, but not given any texture, not colored in anywhere.
Yeah. So
that they could then go in and digitally paint all of these backgrounds to look so that they match the rest of the animation.
Oh yeah.
And yeah, there are some parts where you're looking and go, yeah, that movement's a little too smooth or a little too janky. It's hard to tell which sometimes or to fit the rest of it. But there's just so many of those shots. It's like that are just downright beautiful, especially flying through the city on some points.
Oh yeah.
The scene there where they walk up to the shrine
at
the beginning and it does that full 180 degree turn. Wow.
Yeah.
And of course, every time that they reuse this animation like 3 times, but the flashback to her, that scene of her walking through the shrine gate
Mm-hmm.
and then being sucked up into the sky
Mm-hmm.
is beautiful also.
Oh yeah.
And this film, just to jump on the second part of my animation thing, has the best drawn water I think I've ever seen.
Yeah, absolutely.
Digimon Digimon Adventure Try, this is how you do water. Because y'all didn't do it good.
Very true.
This is how you do water, because this is downright gorgeous water, even though half the time it's not really water, it's water-based fish.
That is true.
Also, the snow scene was beautiful, even though the snow and summer scene was beautiful too.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, this is the animation in this, mostly in the backgrounds and in the water effects, is really where it shines its brightest. Is so beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
And if for no other reason, just to be blown away by the art is a reason enough to watch this.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
That's my first like.
All right, so springboarding off his first, mine is actually the pure, absolute genius of the animation itself. You're looking at some might be like, oh, it's just anime, but oh, it's so much more than simple just anime, because this is just like animation done in Japan that is done with so much detail. Be like, you have the backgrounds, you have the foregrounds, you have character design, which is so well done, like shadowing, rippling effects on clothing, the whole bit, where most of them, they probably wouldn't even bother with it. Like, heck, some Disney films never bothered with it.
Yeah.
But you're looking at so much detail and everything. Like Drew said, the backgrounds in this movie is impeccable.
They are
great.
So stinking detailed.
So much detail going on. It's like the fact that, like, the scene that popped in mind, it's a very quick scene, but it's so well done.
Mhm.
So when Honoka is sitting at the McDonald's,
Yeah.
and Hina comes up and gives him the Big Mac, when he opens the Big Mac, and the Big Mac literally rises in its container. And if you've ever been to McDonald's, you know it does the exact same thing. And it's just drawn. It's done so beautifully. I'm like, oh my! I found myself captivated by a burger rising in its container. I was like, what in the world?
And you know, the people at McDonald's Japan saw that and thought, this is so good. You put all this extra work in for this bit of product placement for what is essentially a commercial inside this movie, because it really kind of does.
It does in a way
feel, but I'm sure McDonald's paid a lot of money for this. But then you look at the rest of the film, it's like they didn't put any more work into this than they put in any other part of the film.
Well, oddly enough, for some reason, this came to mind because like this movie does a lot of advertisement, a ton of advertisement that is very done subtly. Yeah. And the way they do a movie that I think of that I remember watching in theaters and advertising was right in your face about it was I can't remember what year this was, 2019 Power Rangers. 2018, and what was it? What donut shop was it?
They replaced Ernie's juice bar with a Krispy Kreme.
Krispy Kreme.
That is the exact opposite. and buried underneath that Krispy Kreme is supposedly where the Zeo crystal was, and there features a whole scene where sexy Rita Repulsa literally goes in there without doing it, because she's in her full Rita Repulsa outfit from that movie. She's not hiding. She's not dressed as a normal human.
Right.
No, she's a full Rita Repulsa. And they feature a scene with her where for like at least a good 3 seconds, she's sitting there eating a donut.
It's like
in the middle of a Krispy Kreme.
It's like a full-on commercial in the middle of this movie. Like what the...
Do you like to be evil, like this evil woman who's going to destroy the Power Rangers? Go to Krispy Kreme. That doesn't seem like a good ad, to be honest.
No, it doesn't. But it was just so jarring. Well,
yeah.
This movie itself does it very well with advertising the whole bit, but I'm getting sidetracked.
And this bit with McDonald's that we've mentioned is like the worst of the advertising.
Oh, yeah.
It's the most in your face. The rest of it is like
subtle.
It's subtle. It's there. It's like, admittedly, that McDonald's, that could have been any burger restaurant. And admittedly, a lot of extra work was put in there to match
Yeah.
like what you would actually see in a McDonald's.
Yeah.
Surprisingly, all written in English.
Yeah. Some of it.
Almost all the text in there was English.
Yeah.
I did not see much Japanese, which was weird. But we didn't get to see Donald McDonald in there.
No, we didn't.
Because in Japan, he's not called Ronald McDonald.
He's
Donald McDonald.
Donald.
Because the R doesn't. There's something with the
Oh,
R
okay.
and Ronald that
Gotcha.
doesn't work right.
Oh,
there.
okay.
But anyway,
Animation.
beside the point.
Yeah, besides the point. Animation just gold. Oh my gosh.
Yes.
Be like, there again, if you are just a movie buff or an animation buff, like, doesn't matter if you're the.
Doesn't matter if you like anime or not.
Doesn't matter if you like it or not. Go watch this film. It's incredible. Just the amount of detail work in this film is incredible. So yeah, that's my number one. Animation gold. Chef's kiss.
My second like is that this is a far, far better movie. In my opinion, this is going to come off as a bit of a shots fired
Okay.
thing.
Chick, chick.
Yeah, but this is a far better love story.
Hmm.
I want to say than Twilight because that's the joke.
Oh, jeez.
But what
Anything's
I'm
better
actually
than
saying-
Twilight.
What I'm actually saying, this is a far better love story than Your Name,
Oh, okay.
in my opinion.
Oh, okay.
Now, a part of that is this movie ends at the right spot.
Great.
Because you remember one of my
Yeah,
things that
oh
annoyed
my
me the
gosh,
most about
yeah.
Your Name, and this is
Yeah. What's your name?
yeah, it's like no. Y'all need to kiss. You need to end on the kiss.
Exactly.
I don't think they ended on the kiss here, but it
No,
was
they
an
didn't.
implied kiss. It was more like, "Can you tell me your name?" Boom, roll credits. Like, no. Does he have the courage to say Taki, whatever his name is? No, that's not what that was. And this is like, you remember each other. You embraced. They embraced.
Uh-huh.
It's like, thank you. You ended this. I would have liked another scene, admittedly, just to kind of, finish
I would agree, with
Uh,
you on that.
clearing stuff up. But it's like, you didn't end it at the stupid name. As not the stupid name, but you didn't end it on this weird spot.
Yeah.
And I appreciate that.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's my second like, is that it's a much better love story than Your Name and Twilight.
Oh,
If
okay.
we're being honest,
Right. Well, to be frank, any love story that's be like any story can
Right.
outpass
But I
Twilight
mean,
and story.
but
Yeah.
I also mean that I actually believe these two characters are in love,
Yeah.
even when they themselves don't realize they're in love.
Oh yeah. Unlike Twilight, it's course control.
Yes. And admittedly, the characters in Your Name, the reason I don't think that's as good a love story,
Yeah.
is because we never get to see them talk to one another directly
Except
until
in-
the end of the movie.
yeah.
Except for one other little scene on the mountain,
Yeah.
on the volcano thing,
Crater.
the crater, well, the upper crater.
Yeah.
Probably where another comet hit.
Yeah.
But also another thing, I forgot this when I was doing the trivia.
Mm-hmm.
Where they were doing the little ceremony that's kind of like the Day of the Dead thing.
Yeah.
Where they
Oh
were
yeah,
putting
yeah,
stuff-
yeah. Mhm.
Okay, that was at Taki's grandmother's house.
Yeah.
You realize where that person probably died in the comet strike
Yeah.
from Your Name.
Name. Yeah. I didn't.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh! I didn't think about that.
That is probably what happened. That's why.
Oh my gosh! Wow. Yeah.
Thank you for this connection. It helped me
Revelation.
a lot. I didn't know I wanted that, but I was like, no, that's a great detail that I hadn't thought of.
Mm-hmm.
Well, no, actually, now that I think about it, that couldn't have been it. Because Taki was in Tokyo. It's Mitsuha that was in
That's true. It is
that other
bizarre.
town. Never mind.
But hey, works.
It was a thought. It was
It's
a
a thought.
Probably died in a car accident. But anyway, moving on.
Ugh. Either or.
Yes, your second like.
My second like actually ties in a little bit with your second. So mine would be the cameos from Your Name.
Mhm.
I was just more like watching this for the first time. I'm like, wait, is that who I think it is? And this guy's like, oh my gosh, it's from Your Name.
Well, the thing is, they first showed Taki
Yeah,
up there. And I was like, is that Taki?
yeah. I kept thinking it'd be
Because
like,
I never caught his last name in Your Name.
yeah,
I didn't know his last name was Tachibana.
Yeah.
I'm sure in the Japanese version they said Tachibana at some point
Mhm.
because of the way the language works over there. You
Mhm.
probably called him like Tachibana-kun or something at some
Yeah.
point, but that's not what we got in the English version. So I didn't catch that. It's like I thought, this guy looks familiar and
Yeah.
it sounds familiar. Is that? Nah, that can't be Taki. Why would they do that? 3 scenes later, he's buying the ring from Mitsuha,
Ah!
and she's got a name tag on. I'm like, ah!
And she has the
She has the ribbon in her hair.
It's a different color, but
like-
it's the same.
Well, of course, it's a different color. The ribbon. He had her original ribbon.
That is true.
He had to have.
That's true. That's the only way that movie worked.
Yes.
But
Sorry, we have 2 romance movies that happen to work in its own universe, and we kind of geeked out.
yeah, it was just so.
'Cause I think what we were in that theater, and Mitsuha shows up, and I just started going. You see what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying? No other movie outside of like comic book movies does this.
Exactly. It was a real treat to see those characters
Yes,
and to understand, be like, this is before they meet up at the very end of Your Name. I was like,
that is painful.
that was painful. I was like, oh my gosh.
Painful when you come to that realization. It's like I still haven't said their name yet.
Yes. But it's done so subtly.
Yes.
It's more like
not
they're
thrown
they're
in
just
your face. It is
Yeah,
a
exactly.
nice cameo Easter egg, but parts of it are very well thought out.
Mhm.
Until you realize that when they met, Tokyo wasn't underwater.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe it was just a few or a random slow rain day.
You never know.
Maybe I don't know.
Maybe you never
It
know.
said it rained
For 3 years.
3 years, and it was enough to sink a bridge underneath water, but
Yeah, at
bridge
least
going over Tokyo Bay.
at least the lower part of Tokyo. But
Yes.
oh my gosh. I just like, again, watching a theater, get this guy to you're like, hey, did you see that? was like, oh my gosh, it's her.
That was the thing when we first watched this, because we didn't know anything about the movie.
No, we
just knew
didn't.
It was another Makoto Shinkai film,
Mhm.
and we thought, well, we both love the first one.
Exactly.
Let's go watch the second one, because how often do you get to see an anime film in theaters in general? Now we get to see it even less because of stupid COVID
Thank you, Kim.
taking all the anime, the short run stuff away from Tyler. Anyway.
Thank you, COVID.
Thank you, COVID. We blame COVID for that. And then we're sitting and we're watching that, and I going, no,
No way on
that
earth.
can't be. That's not who I think it is. And it goes away, and it's like, okay. Mitsuha!
Oh my
What are
gosh.
you doing here? That means it had to be Taki. 3 seconds later, oh my goodness, that was their friends in that short little scene of the sun rising earlier.
Mhm. I have to say, I love it when you geek out. It's
Yes,
just hilarious. But either
You should
or,
see me in Marvel films. You should have seen me in No Way Home.
gosh, I can imagine. It's like,
I have a feeling I'm going to do the same thing in Multiverse of Madness.
I'm not surprised.
But anyway,
It can be like what I would love to do is actually get a camera on him when he's watching the
one of these films.
one of these films. Just put a camera in front of him, like let him geek out about it.
Okay.
That would be
Okay.
internet gold.
Here is what I will do.
Okay.
Here is what I will do. Whether I can get you to come over or not, secondary. Even though I'd love to have you here for a reactions video.
Right.
I will do it next time some big trailer is coming out.
Mhm.
I will wait to watch it until I can get home. I get the camera set up, and then I will record a short video and put it on Facebook and YouTube of me reacting to something.
There we go.
I don't know when that next thing will be. It may not be a movie. It may not be. It may be a video game trailer for all you know.
Yeah. Because when he geeks out, he geeks out.
Oh yeah.
So that's beside the point. So yeah, the cameos in this film are just like, nice little nods. It's not boom. Oh, these are the characters from this movie. Be like, do you remember this movie? It's nice
That-
little nods, and
yeah.
it's like just perfectly executed. It's not in your face trying to drill itself into your cheek.
Right. They are perfectly usable characters. Admittedly, it didn't have to be Taki and Mitsuha.
Yeah.
But the fact that they used those characters without really, because they could have been, it could have just been a random NPC number 23.
Right.
Which I love how NPC now is just my normal term for an extra at this point. But anyway,
Right.
I guess it's my third like now, isn't
Yes, it is.
I I got lost. My third like is the simple fact that because this movie is told mostly from Hodaka's point of view,
Mm-hmm.
we're not told what the real problem is until Hodaka finds out. But you can tell as you're watching
Mm-hmm.
that all these other people are realizing what's going to happen
Mm-hmm.
if they're not careful. Even though half of them don't believe in the Sunshine Girl thing anyway.
Yeah.
The fact that there is a Sunshine Girl, it's this girl, and all the legends and prophecies say there's a price to be paid.
Mm-hmm.
There's a consequence for doing all this, and that she is going to have to sacrifice herself at some point. I love that they keep that from Hodaka for most of the film because, but without really, it feels like you know what's coming.
Mm-hmm.
Because you heard the story with the fortune teller, not the fortune teller, the guy at the old shrine.
Yeah.
When the brother, the man and his niece heard it. I can't think of their names. And so he's like, "Oh, she's gonna have to sacrifice." And then they tell Hina. Sorry, I can't think of names right now.
Yeah.
They tell
Welcome
Hina,
to my world.
but they don't tell Hodaka.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody tells Hodaka.
Yeah.
Because they know he's gonna freak out.
Oh, yeah, you think?
And it's actually, admittedly, I do think they should have told Hodaka at some point that, oh yeah, this is all causing problems, and it is going to cause problems. There is a price
Mm-hmm.
to be paid for this service, and it's not being paid by the customer.
That is true.
It's being paid by the girl who's doing the praying,
Mm-hmm.
and she's going to disappear. And much like in Your Name, where you don't really know what's coming until after it happened.
Yeah.
I did not expect either time I watched it, because
Yeah.
this has been a while since I saw it originally when I watched it for
Mhm.
this.
Yeah.
I forgot. I knew by the end, I knew she sacrificed herself
Yeah.
for them. I didn't remember when it was.
Ah.
And I just knew it was after the line, "Do you want the rain to stop?"
Yeah.
And I remember thinking, and she disappears while they're asleep because she doesn't want to, do that while they're there.
Yeah.
I'm like, because literally when that one time she does it in the rain and she kind of flies up,
Mm-hmm.
but doesn't fly off, but slowly comes back down. I thought, oh goodness, it just happened.
Mm-hmm.
No, wait, no, it didn't, because they haven't done the running away thing yet.
Yeah.
And then they go through the hotel after they find one that'll actually take them in, which I still don't remember how that works, since even the Love Hotel wouldn't let them in.
Yeah, me either. I think it was just more like they
got someone who didn't care at the front lobby is what happened.
It's like, oh, two teenagers and one little boy. It's like, oh, okay,
that's not gonna be bad at all.
No.
Well, she kept telling him she was 18.
Yeah.
She was lying out her butt.
Yeah, she was 15.
Yeah, she was still in middle school.
Yeah. No, that'll be high school.
They said middle school.
Oh, okay.
So this is Japanese.
Oh, yeah.
Grades.
That's right. It's like
and,
U.S.
And they're what we think of as ninth grade is the last year of their middle school, because they have 3 middle school years.
That's
and 3
right.
high school
That's right.
years.
Or junior high, whatever we call it.
Whatever. I've heard it both ways. Haven't we all?
Yes, we have.
But I love how storyline wise, as much as we do have more information than Hodaka most of the time,
Mm-hmm.
they don't allow you to really get the full ramification
Mm-hmm.
of that information until Hodaka realizes it.
Yeah.
And I appreciated that. I appreciated that this was a story you had to be paying attention to and thinking about the whole time.
Yeah.
It wasn't just a shallow airhead romance story.
Yeah.
Like so many of them can be.
Yeah, agreed.
This was, we're a romance story, but we're also sci-fi
Yeah.
and fantasy.
Mhm.
You've got to be thinking about what's going on, or you're going to get lost.
Yeah, exactly.
You can't just barely pay attention to it. You've got to watch the whole thing.
True.
If you understand why they're making the choices they're making.
Agreed.
And why it's snowing in the middle of July
Mhm.
in Tokyo.
How does it snow in July?
Well, when your
I'm
storm
actually-
gets really bad because of the water whale. It's apparently in the
That
sky,
is
whatever that
that
thing
is
supposed to be.
true. I'm actually making a
Since
song
since
reference.
a big cold front through town. Anyway,
I'm actually making a song reference.
oh, are you?
Yeah, Chris Gaines.
Who?
If you don't know who that is,
Moving
Moving
right
on.
along. Sorry, I know a lot of music. No, I know music, but I don't know all the music.
well, he's a country star actually.
It's been a while since I listened to country music. Since, in my opinion, that hasn't made any since 2005.
Just blame it all on your roots.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway, continuing.
Yes.
Your last like.
My third like would definitely be the romantic story between these two characters is the fact that let me get the names up because I'm terrible with names. So Honoka is am I pronouncing that Honoka?
Hodoka.
Hodoka.
How I've been pronouncing
Yeah,
it.
Hodoka. Is finds himself in Tokyo, not Hong Kong. Tokyo.
Yeah, Tokyo.
In Tokyo, and is basically running out of options, now living on the street, and he runs into Hina, and you just have this relationship build. That's how be like this notion that I think I saw one thing, like I think it was like this week or last week, where it was literally these characters, but like they just met and they're automatically in love with each other.
Mm-hmm.
And so this movie does it very excellently, where you have this build up of trust, and they build up a friendship, and where they ultimately start to fall for each other. And I think it's very well done. It's not the cliche trope of it was Thumbelina. Thumbelina, that was what.
Yes.
Yeah, Thumbelina would be like, "Oh, I'm instantly in love with the prince." You don't know him. Where these two characters
fall in love with someone you just met.
Exactly.
To quote another movie based on a Hans Christian Andersen fairy tale.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I should have brought that up last week.
You should have.
I didn't think of it last week. I thought of it this week.
Just let it go, man.
Moving on.
But it's just the progression of that relationship. It's not I'm instantly in love with her. Be like, dude, that's lust, not love. Let's just be frank with that.
Mm-hmm.
So just the gradual progression of these two characters' relationship and their blooming of a relationship and their like care and desire to take care of one another it's not the in your face they're doing other stuff, but it's just it has this realism, like this movie has like so much realism, plus it's sci-fi fantasy kind of a film, but it is grounded in reality. It has so much like truth behind it that be like how relationships really work. And I really dig that. That was really cool.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's my third like.
All right, well, they need to get into dislikes.
Mm-hmm.
My first dislike, they reused a lot of animation in this film. I say a lot.
Yeah,
they repeated the scene of her going into the sky numerous times.
Yeah,
and the scene and the shot of her shielding her eye from the sun a couple of times. And they in most cases this was in flashback, but not always.
I'll agree.
Flashback. And I know that, even with all the money they were getting from McDonald's and everyone else that they had paid that for all this stuff, I know the budget probably was still very tight as it got close to the end. Nearly would have had to have been for this detail. So I understand there's a couple shots where it's essentially the same thing in the same setting, or this will fit in here to better explain visually what's going on instead of having us, look at them talking at one another, because there's not really as much else that makes sense to do in this scene.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it is still reused animation, and it bugs me. Reused animation always bugs me. So yeah, that's my first dislike, is a little bit of reused animation.
Okay, which is never bad, but when you use it,
it's almost excessive here.
Okay, yeah,
almost. It's not completely excessive, but it's like after the third time, it's like, okay, we get it. She walked through the shrine gate and then got transported into heaven or the sky or whatever that green grass is on top of that anvil, that cumulonimbus cloud is.
What I primarily think of when you say that the reuse of animation, I think of Funimation's He-Man and the Masters Universe.
Filmation.
I'm sorry, Filmations. Masters, He-Man and the Master Universe from the 80s, because they rotoscoped everything in that, and they reused everything, and like for every 2 frames they reuse a certain piece of animation. But I would agree with you, there are quite a few scenes in this film that is being reused and rehashed over and over and over again.
Yeah.
But still incredible animation.
It is beautiful.
Mhm.
It's just sometimes it's like, okay, we saw that already. You showed this at the beginning of the film. You showed this when you told us, when you explained to Hodaka how this happened, and now you're showing it to us again when Hodaka remembers, so he knows where to go. I get it. You can actually do like a quick cut, and I'll get it faster.
Yeah.
In fact, hey, instead of showing me the whole thing, do like you did just a second ago and show me that quick outline where you can just make out the shrine on top of the abandoned building. And I'll go, oh yeah, that's where you need to go, because you had its spotlight from the sun, like you did at the beginning of the film. Except this was from a different angle, so it wasn't a reused drawing.
I got you.
But still, it's like, just play with it a little bit better. That's all I'm asking. Do another flyby. Those are pretty and are different animations.
All right.
Your first dislike.
All right. So my first dislike, Hodaka, why did you have to destroy Tokyo? Why?
I knew this was coming.
Oh my gosh. So the fact that, because Hodaka is so in love with Hinata, or Hina? I'm pronouncing Hina. Thank you. Hina is so in love with her. She's disappeared. She made her sacrifice, and now he's willing to sacrifice everything to get Hina back, not caring that his desire, his grief, his love for Hina is going to destroy most of the city. No, I just want her back. I don't care about anything else. I'm just like, I'd be like, understand, you have a passion for this girl. I get it. I totally get it. But at the same time, be like, how many people died because of your selfishness?
Do you want me to tell you the reason why?
Because if she came back, it would just rain more and more and more.
No. I'll tell you why he was this selfish. Anybody in this situation, admittedly, he was still in the puppy love stage, if we're being honest.
That is true.
But I can, first off, she sacrificed herself.
Oh yeah,
no one asked her to do this.
Oh, completely agreed.
She sacrificed herself to bring an end to the reign,
to
save both her brother and him.
Yeah,
two of the most important people.
Oh yeah,
in her
completely
life
agree.
At that
completely
time.
Agree.
That was her choice. If Makoto Shinkai had done the hard thing and allowed that sacrifice to stand, it would not have been a happy love story. It would have been a tragic love story, because the rest of that film, you'd have to deal with him being hurt and not being able to deal with it, and the fact that he realizes there is a way I can see her again.
Yeah, do not get me wrong. I understand. Right. I understand why the character did that. I totally understand that. It's just you
just don't like that their happy ending resulted in 1,000, if not hundreds of thousands, of other unhappy endings.
Yeah, exactly. For what was
so 2 people can be in love 3 years later after he gets out of probationary high school.
Yeah, pretty much.
While she's still in high school.
Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah.
And admittedly, this was a thought that came to my mind, but at the same time, I'm sitting here going, okay, what other choices did they have?
Yeah. Oh, I agree. Be like,
granted, have him go and talk to her, have that last goodbye.
Yeah.
That could have been a beautiful scene also. And maybe he could have gotten much better closure for essentially her death.
Yeah.
Doing it that way, where they actually do get to say goodbye after she sacrificed, when he sees her in heaven, and then maybe she sends him back.
Yeah.
And she stays. That would have been, I think, maybe that would have been the harder thing from a human point of view to do.
Yeah, agreed.
And it may have resulted in a better story where he had to live with that loss. And yeah, I wouldn't have gotten one of my likes.
Yeah.
Of the film. But you're right. At the same time, their happy ending resulted in about 100,000 other people having very bad endings. The
Yeah.
entire city of Tokyo having a bad ending. In fact, it still looks like there's still going to be raining because it hasn't stopped. Didn't stop
No,
raining.
it
in
has
that.
not.
And apparently, maybe her prayers don't work anymore
Yeah.
because she's praying there at the end and the sun never comes out.
Yeah.
So by coming back, she lost her connection,
Mm-hmm.
and now there's nobody. And they try to hand wave this.
Yeah, they do.
Admittedly, but yeah, I get what you're saying. I get
Yeah.
exactly what you're saying.
Yeah, I found it just be like, what was the quote from Star Trek to the Wrath of Khan? That is the what is that quote? I'm sorry.
The needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few or the one.
Yeah.
However, Star Trek 3, The Search for Spock,
Mm-hmm.
they turn that on their head when well, actually, the line comes in Star Trek 4, but it's what Star Trek 3 is about.
Yeah.
When because in Star Trek 4, Spock's going back through trying to relearn everything after being resurrected,
Mm-hmm.
and he says he doesn't understand why they went to all this trouble just for him.
Yeah.
And Spock's mother, Amanda, says because they believe that sometimes the needs of the one outweigh the needs of the many.
Yeah.
Which he says that's completely illogical. Humans do illogical things.
Mm-hmm.
And she says they do indeed.
The entry.
And that's what we've got here is an illogical thing born purely out of passion that admittedly he probably realizes, especially when he gets back to Tokyo 3 years later, he realizes all of this is still his fault.
Mm-hmm.
Because he could not live without Hina.
Yeah. Yeah,
but all that goes away when he finally gets back to her. So. And admittedly, that's the other thing. It's like as much as I love the ending, they don't give enough of the ending to really give closure.
I agree with that.
In my opinion, to the movie.
Yeah, there is that one scene where Honoka he's talking with like a person he knew, and it's like, oh yeah, you were displaced from the when the water rose. It's like, oh yeah, I had to move.
Miss Tachibana.
Yeah, Miss Tachibana. Yeah,
Taki's
grandmother. Yeah. I'm like,
bringing that back around.
Yeah, bring that back around. Agreed.
It's like, well, weren't you living in a house? Well, after the flood waters rose, I mean, we had to move.
Yeah.
Like, oh,
crap, that was my fault.
That was my fault.
Yeah.
And she's like, no, it wasn't your fault. And this whole area used to be underwater not 200 years ago. And I'm going, was it only 200 years ago? Admittedly, I don't know. I know when that area was still called Edo before they moved the capital there.
Yeah.
I know it was mostly swampland, but was it underwater? I don't know.
I don't know.
I would think it would be sinking then, but what do I know?
So yeah, that's my first dislike. What's your second?
I got tired of all of the inner monologues that Hodoka had.
Oh my gosh.
Because a lot of them was like, I get that this is what you're thinking, but this is unnecessary information. It's like, hang on. Is this the first time I've been to a girl's house? You should know. Why are you just now realizing this? Wait, is this the first time someone's confessed their love to me? It's like, well, lucky you. That doesn't come to everybody. Why are you acting like this is a rite of passage?
Hit a personal nerve, didn't it?
Just a touch. But no, I mean, every time that happened, it confused me for a second because in almost every instance, he does that inner monologue while he's not on screen. So it just sounds like him talking. It's like, wait a minute. It's like, you're telling her to wait a minute? Is this it's like, oh, you're talking in your head again. Okay.
Yeah.
Confuse the crud out of me.
Yeah.
But anyway.
So my second dislike would be, granted, this story is very well done, but it kind of story-wise kind of recycles a little bit from the director's previous film, which was Your Name. So there's a little bit of theming that has been leftovers or recycled story, kind of little story beats here and there. And I know some critics have gone out and said, be like, "Oh, it's just a rehash." It's not a rehash.
No.
It's using certain beats from Your Name into Weathering with You. Be like, yeah, it's a tied in universe, but one thing I did notice was there are certain little beats here, little story beats here and there that are very much just pulled from Your Name. But there again, great film. I just noticed that. What is your third dislike?
The fact that it does mirror the beats of Your Name.
Okay.
A little too much.
Okay.
I say a little too much. I mean, they kind of do hit, like, it's a different story. It's not the same story by any stretch of the imagination. Right. But there are parts that seem like, yeah, in the last movie, they met back up, but they had to keep separated because they're still split in time. In this movie, they met back up and they're together.
Yeah.
It's like,
well, they were separated by a restraining order or something.
Separated by a restraining order. But then they did get back together by the end of the film.
Yeah.
And they get back together on a hill, on inclines. And admittedly, this time they don't have the trying to run to catch up to each other thing. And once they realize they actually know each other, even though they don't remember each other like you have in Your Name.
Right.
And this one, you have them happening upon each other and then running towards each other and hugging. At least we get that kind of an embrace.
Yeah.
And it's like, and it ends similarly. It has a bunch of plot points that fit around the same time they do, but they're played differently. And in some ways, I like that, and in other ways, I don't. It feels like we had a script, we had an outline, and we reused the outline, but changed some stuff to make it less obvious. Except that Weathering with You is, in my opinion, the better film. In my opinion.
Yeah.
I know other people say Your Name is the better film. Bear in mind, I am talking about like microscopic degrees of difference here.
Yeah, agreed.
So, I mean, yeah, this is a great film, and it just has a couple things. And all my three are nitpicks.
Yeah, of course.
Being honest.
Of course.
It's because I'm having to look for something. It's like, yeah, you could have been done slightly better here. Could have been done better there.
Of course.
For the most part, I don't care when I'm watching the movie. It's just because I guarantee you, I did not notice this in the first viewing. I was more blown away by, look at all the skyscrapers. They're 3D and a 2D anime.
It's
Mitsuha!
It's so pretty.
Yes. To quote Francisco back when he was doing his Greek streams on Saturday Decade Adventures on Saturday mornings, it's so pretty. I think I explained more than I actually quoted, but whatever. Yeah, that's my third dislike.
All right, so my third dislike is Honoka. I'm saying that right, Honoka?
Yeah, Honoka.
Yeah, Honoka. You got off easy, buddy.
Oh yes,
you got off so easy. So let's name the list of stuff he did.
Let's get the big one first. He fired a firearm in Tokyo. It doesn't matter who it's at. That's super illegal in Japan.
Yeah.
You're not
twice.
Twice. You're not even supposed to have a gun.
Yeah.
Period.
Exactly.
In Japan. You should have thrown that thing away the minute you saw it and walked away.
But it was lucky. It was lucky.
Oh, yeah,
it was my lucky charm.
It was his lucky charm. He thought it was a toy.
Hey.
You didn't. Admittedly, if you've not been around guns, you may not know to do this. But you didn't check to see if the gun was loaded with real bullets.
Yeah. Made of steel. Be like it's got a firing chamber in the whole bit.
I mean, they do make air guns of that quality.
I agree. But I've seen some of those.
But there are some obvious telltale signs that that's what that is. None of which was on that gun that I could see.
Yeah.
And that he should have been able to know, at least, admittedly, I'm in Texas. We are taught to use guns from an early age. We know what to look for because we grew up with it.
Yeah.
Admittedly, in Japan, most people go there have gone their entire lives having never seen a gun.
Yeah.
Except on television. So maybe they don't know. I don't know.
Yeah. So we have Honoka with a gun, which he's not supposed to have.
Yeah.
Because it's very clear to be like, if you have a gun, if you know where a gun is and you don't tell us, be like, you get in trouble. Let's see. He fires the gun twice.
Yeah.
He runs. He's He runs from the law. He
multiple times.
multiple times. He assaults a police officer. He points a gun at a police officer.
Mm-hmm.
He runs from the law. He has multiple accomplishments. Accomplishments? What's the word I'm looking for? Accomplices. Thank you. He has multiple accomplices that are helping him through this entire thing. And so he finally gets down and he only gets 3 years probation.
Well, he is a minor.
I that's what I
But
thought. That's what I thought.
But here's the other problem.
Yeah.
Do you realize that in Japan, the life of a school kid is pretty much run by that school?
Yeah.
So that if you get something, like if you get a police record,
Mm-hmm.
it's not just on you, it reflects against the
school.
So it is, I don't know how common this is,
Mm-hmm.
but I do know of at least a video game, I know that's another thing, but where the kid got expelled because he had a police record, even though it was trumped up charges.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't matter. He had a police record. He got expelled.
Yeah.
And he had to transfer to another school, ironically in Tokyo, that would take him.
Yeah, but he wasn't even going to school at the time. And he ran away from home.
Yes, but he still was a student of that school, even though he had run away from home.
Yeah.
Maybe his school was a bit more lenient.
Maybe.
Very possible. But than the example I quoted. But I mean, it's that could have destroyed his future. Of course, running away from home could have destroyed his future too. Because that's also illegal.
Mm-hmm. That is true. But according to it's not in canon film, but according to, I think it was like the director or someone who said this.
It was the novelization of the movie over in Japan, right. In that he was what he ran away from was actually like he was assaulted by his father or something.
Yeah,
like
he was
that.
being abused by his father.
Abused by his father, yeah.
Yeah.
That's what he was running away from because no one would listen to him.
Mm-hmm.
But then he had to go back to that situation.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. It's like, what the fudge?
I'm curious how the book handled that.
Yeah, I wonder too.
Was he in prison at that time? His father?
Maybe. Who knows?
I don't know.
But it was just more that Hinako?
I don't know. You've mispronounced. You've asked me so many times.
Hodoka. Yeah, Hodoka. Yeah, Hodoka got off be like, if you were to talk to something like an American perspective, be like, one, you assaulted a police officer, you aimed a gun at a police officer, you fired a gun in a police officer's presence, and by the grace of God, they didn't kill you.
I think that doesn't just get you juvie, that gets you tried as an adult. Which means you go to adult prison.
Yeah, here in the States.
Yeah.
So it's just like,
from what I understand,
this young man got off so granted, he's 16. I get it. But listen, like for all the stuff he did, he got off so easy.
And granted, for the story, he needed to be where he could go find Hina after 3 years.
Yeah, exactly.
So that they could then spend the rest of their life together, I assume.
Plot convenience. But yeah.
It's called Let the Movie Have Its Happy Ending. It doesn't hurt nothing.
That is true. But he got off so easy.
Yeah.
Just saying. That's my third dislike.
Anyway, that brings us to the end of this review. So we need to rate this thing.
Yeah.
I'm rating it a 10.
You're rating it a 10?
Yes.
Wow.
I've only done that, I think, one other time, which was for Totoro.
Mm-hmm.
It's nearly a perfect movie.
Yeah. Oh, I agree.
I say nearly. It's close enough that I don't care that any of the nitpicks I came up with.
Yeah.
I came up with those because we have to do a podcast.
Yeah.
I was looking for stuff. I have to look for something that's like, this could have been better. But the fact of the matter is, in the moment, I didn't care.
Yeah.
I was like, so pretty. Oh, it's Mitsuha. Oh, I hope they can get stuff like, you've seen this movie 2 or 3 times. I don't care. I really hope they make it out of this alive. I'm just right there on the back of the bike with the niece whose name I can't remember right now, and she's like, "I'm gonna be a cop and catch all the speeders," and you're going, "They'll never hire you after this." That's one of the best slides in the movie.
I agree. Completely agree. Oh
but
my
yeah,
gosh.
it's a nearly perfect movie. Near enough, I give it a perfect score. 10
Oh
out
my
of 10.
gosh. I'll get. I'm
If I
definitely.
could grade it higher, I would.
Yeah, he probably would. So I'm gonna give it a. Oh my gosh! Like at one point when I was doing my notes, I gave it a certain certain score that was much lower than Drew's is, but I'm gonna give it a. Oh, let's just give it a 9.5. Be like, this is a. It is a great film. It's cinematic gold. Who's be like to who is ever be like loves movies, watch this movie. Go watch Your Name. Go watch this movie. It's great. I don't care if you're an anime fan, otaku, average movie fan, or just the movie buff. Go watch it. It's worth watching. So yes, 9.5. It is spectacular. Be like, I think I've only given one movie a 10. I think I have to go back and look at it, but that was just me geeking out because it's one of my favorite Disney films of all time. But either or. So yeah, that is my score. I give it a 9.5, and Drew gives it a 10.
Mm-hmm. Sorry, I'm looking for trivia for next week.
Oh, okay. Yeah, what movie are we
next
reviewing?
week? We're reviewing Batman and Mr. Freeze Sub-Zero.
Yeah.
This is actually going to be our tie-in movie with the rest of the Culture Box Media Network. As this quarter, we are focusing on Batman stuff. We were on their Batman 66 Retro Rewind's Batman 66 review recently. I know Geek Devotions has done some stuff centered around the movie The Batman that just came out recently. Don't know what anyone else is doing. I haven't heard, but that's some stuff I know is coming.
Yeah, because we've already reviewed Batman Mask of the Phantasm and Batman Return of the Joker. Batman Beyond Return of the Joker.
I literally picked the next movie. I literally brought up a list of Batman movies, and I picked one we hadn't done, which was Batman and Mr. Freeze Sub-Zero.
Which is a good film.
I haven't seen it, but I'm looking forward to it.
Oh, it's good.
I'm still looking for good trivia.
Yeah,
good trivia question.
Yeah. Okay, so here's an idea. You don't have to use this one as a trivia.
Okay.
So this movie was to come out a year prior to its release, but it got delayed because of a certain full-length movie that Warner Brothers had released a year prior. And it caused Warner Brothers not to release this one because it would have a connection with this bigger Batman film that came out a year prior.
You're asking what Batman film came out close to what other Batman film came out close to this?
Yeah, what caused this movie to be delayed by a year release?
I'm curious. No, I don't want stupid thing. Batman in film. That's what I want to see. And of course, it doesn't list the anime, but it does list Mask of the Phantasm.
When was this movie released?
But it doesn't list this movie in here. It goes Mask of the Phantasm, the Lego Batman movie are the only two animated films it lists. Because I think this is theatrically released films.
I think you were just on it.
Can't be that, but it's got to be. It has to be that.
Yeah, it's that. Because this movie came out in 1998.
That makes sense. Okay, yeah. So yeah, which the trivia question then is going to be, what Batman movie came out that caused this movie to be delayed a year? That's the question.
I know it. He knows it.
Yes.
Do you know it?
Ironically, it has connections.
It does.
But we will talk about that next week when we review Batman Mr. Freeze Sub-Zero. In the meantime, this has been Drew.
This is Jacob.
And we will catch you in the next frame.
You can follow Jacob on his Facebook at Jacob B. Heron. His Facebook page, Jacob's Daily Art Corner, where he tries to draw each and every day. His Instagram at Jacob B. Heron. His Twitter at Jacob Heron. And his Letterboxd at Jacob Heron. You can find Drew on Facebook at Drew Dodgen. His Facebook page, Drew's Photobin, to see his photography. His Letterboxd page at ggeorge759. His Twitter at ggeorge759. And Instagram at drewdodgen. You can like us on Facebook at the Cellcast Podcast, on Twitch at the Cellcast Gaming, on YouTube at Cellcast, on Twitter at cast_cell. The Cellcast can be found at Apple Podcasts, Google Play Podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify, or anywhere else fine podcasts are downloaded from. Please rate and review us where you found us, and also on Podchaser. Email us at thecellcastpodcast@gmail.com. The Cellcast is a proud member of both the Pop Americana and Culture Box media networks. For more information, please see the link in the description. Our theme song is Drop and Roll by Silent Partner. And remember, that's Cell, with a single L.